Good morning, guys. We're down at the Blue Grotto. We had expected to take a boat ride within the grotto itself to check out the caves and all the other areas, but it's very windy. Just gonna walk around. We're just gonna make the best of it and just try to be careful that we don't fall in because the water looks very cold and very deep.
It gets heavier and heavier as you go deeper and deeper because all the water is going over you and then pop, you die.
Blue Grotto is a popular tourist destination in Malta. On a less windy day, you can take a boat tour to explore the 7 caves located along the island's coast. We were out of luck this day to take the boat tour, so we decided to just stroll along the bank and enjoy the views of the deep blue water and crashing waves.
Keenan, come, let's go.
Not far from the Blue Grotto is an archaeological park which features temple ruins that are about 3,000 years old. So the temple is here, and they've put this shelter over the temple just to preserve it.
This looks like the thing in the movie.
Some people used to think that giants created these temples because it's kind of like Stonehenge. Huge pieces of rock put together, and they're saying, how can human beings 3,000 years ago have built this? So they think, some people used to think that giants built it. I can see why. Haqar Qim and Najra are temples that were excavated in the 1800s and is believed to have been built between 3600 and 3200 BC. The pottery, stone carvings, and clay figurines that were found in the temples are now housed in the National Museum of Archaeology. These temples have become national icons and can be found on their stamps as well as the Maltese currency. Very cool. I'm happy that we found it. Not being able to go on the Blue Grotto tour was a disappointment, but it wasn't a day wasted because at least we got to see it. So we're here at Mdina, which was the original capital of Malta thousands of years ago. We're going to go on a walking tour. We're going to find out some history about the city. There are thousands of people who come and tour the city. So it's very excited to go on this tour, so we'll meet you in Mdina. Mdina was built in medieval times around 4,000 years ago and maintains much of its ancient architecture. There are only 250 people living here today, but it was once the capital of Malta, built on the highest hill in order to see any enemies coming from the coast. As we wandered the narrow alleys and saw the architecture of the city, we could see why this place is used in many Hollywood productions, like King's Landing from Game of Thrones. So we just finished the Mdina tour. The tour guide was really knowledgeable, gave us a lot of information about the history of the city. And now we're just going to stroll around because it's it is called a silent city, right? So it's really quiet, but it's so beautiful. You feel like you're going back in time, and none of the buildings can be restored, at least from the outside. So it is the way it has always been for hundreds of years. Mdina is comprised of narrow streets with high buildings, so you really feel enclosed from the outside world here. Once you do get out of the winding streets, you get to see large town squares that have been beautifully preserved for hundreds of years. So, okay, now what did you think of Mdina?
It was really nice. It's probably one of my favorite places so far.
Really?
During this trip.
Wow. It is so beautiful. It really reminds me of Assassin's Creed. I've only ever seen, I know Ken is like, how do you know about Assassin's Creed? I've only seen trailers and stuff that the kids insist that I watch, but it really reminds me of it. What do you think?
I said it when we got here.
All right, well, okay, it wasn't my idea. St. Paul's Cathedral can be found in the city's main square and is believed to have been built on the site of Roman governor Publius' residence. It is believed that this is where the Apostle Paul was shipwrecked in 60 AD and preached Christianity to the people. And it's gelato time.
I want to have Oreo and half of this.
Mint?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those two?
Yes.
Could you have a piece of, the Oreos?
Because I never tried Oreo in my whole entire life.
What did you just eat, Keenan?
Gelato ice cream.
And Oreos for the first time in your life?
Yeah, I ate 3 Oreos.
How was it?
We're so healthy, it's gross.
Good.
I want to try Oreo for the first time.
I'm actually more healthier than you.
We're freezing, but it's a very nice place. We love it. So we're just gonna walk through just before we go. Follow me.
This medieval town has a mixture of both Roman and Baroque architecture, and many of its former palaces are now private homes for those who can afford the expensive real estate. So the tour guide was saying that a lot of noble people would make Mdina their home, and then all the farmers and servants, they live outside the city walls in Rabat. So very expensive. Even now, if you wanted to buy something, you'd have to restore it to its former glory and maintain it, but there's strict regulations as to how you can restore things. So unfortunately, a lot of the buildings, I mean, some people still own them, but there's a lot of them that's also like kind of in disrepair, but it is still just a magnificent looking city. Beautiful. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click on that like button and subscribe. Until next time, this is the Smith family wishing you happy travels.
It's a windy day, so we decided to make the best of it by just hanging out on the dock.
Keenan? No, you need to stay with us.
Good morning, guys.
There.
Okay, let's go. Tell me.